Hi guys, Ed and Chris here, and I just wanted to say that this is a good podcast. However, Rebecca's camera failed, so I've had to adapt the middle camera to face her. It's not the best, it's probably better on audio format, but it's quite a good podcast, so stay tuned. Hi guys, and welcome back to Nail on Sunday podcast with me, Chris, and my smoking hot wife, Rebecca. I had to do that intro twice because I've left the music up. And I said I was going to change it from smoking hot, but she is smoking hot. So here we are. Chris is fresh, back from holiday. And by fresh, I mean super tired. I'll tell you why in a second.
Super tired and super grumpy.
Yes. Hi, honey. Before we get into that, today's episode is brought to you by Chris's Ideas. So today's pod is going to be 100 years of nail trends.
This is entirely Chris's idea.
Entirely my idea. So if you don't like it, please just leave a comment saying, Chris, you are rubbish. And the idea is I'm going to talk about a nail trend, one nail trend from the last decade, from each decade from the last 100 years, just to see if they're relevant today.
20, 30, 40, 50, all the way like that.
God, there she goes, counting again on the pod. Excellent. But before we get into that, like I alluded to, we are fresh back from holiday. And by fresh, I mean like actually just like fresh off the airplane almost, but not fresh because of, you know, that way where you have the thing called work and sleep deprivation because of a puppy.
And jet lag.
That's what I've got right now. Honey, I've hardly asked her anything about you because, well, I've spent the last 2 weeks just looking into your eyes. But how are you?
So tired.
So tired.
So tired. Even on the drive here, I was like, I think I'm going to fall asleep. What
time did you wake up this morning?
I woke up at 9:30, but let me tell you what happened. I didn't get to sleep till about 1 a.m. And then just after 6, I was up with Dakota.
I had already been up for an hour before with Dakota, let him out several times.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've spoken about this before, Bailey will happily crap all over the house, but Dakota won't even poo in his own garden, has to go around the block. So eventually at 6 I woke up and had to take him for a poo. Couldn't get back to sleep because I didn't try, because there's no point, because I went back
so you couldn't get back to sleep because I didn't try.
Well, I did. I tried to go to bed. He barked from downstairs because
what does he want though? What does he want?
Let me just tell you a secret about Dakota, right? See, if you look at your phone, he wants your attention. If you go to sleep, he wants your attention. If you look at the big thing on the wall, TV, he wants your attention. If you give him all your attention, he falls asleep. It's the weirdest thing.
That is the thing, because by the time I wake up, it's pure silence in the house and Dak's sleeping.
So, anyway, enough about us. Well, before we get into the show, let's just do a recap of the holiday.
I'm honestly so tired.
Anyway, I'll give you a recap of the holiday. It was probably one of the best holidays I've ever been on.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been on much better holidays, but I think I savoured a lot of it in certain ways that I probably wouldn't have appreciated before. So, for instance, we went to Stagecoach Festival, 3-day festival, Indio, California, beautiful place. Really warm during the day, colder at night time.
Cold is an understatement.
Well, do you know what it is? It is really warm during the day, so you wear scantily clad clothes. Even Chris had short shorts and like t-shirts and stuff on. The women, dear God, man, don't take your boyfriends there. I didn't look at anybody. It's just hearsay. But at night time it does get a lot colder because you're in the desert.
Very windy.
Yeah.
Very windy.
I am not cut out for a 3-day festival anymore.
Absolutely.
So
not.
the next time Lucy suggests that we do these 3-day festivals and she only turns up for half of it or not at all, we'll say no. We can do 1 day.
1 day.
1 day's about my thing. But that felt like a whole other holiday away from, after that we drove from California to Phoenix, Arizona to pick up a camper van.
It felt like it was 3 holidays.
Yeah. So then we did 5 days in a camper van. Most of that was off-grid, which was pretty excellent. Arizona is beautiful in every single way. There's nothing better. Like the heat during the day is unreal. Again, it gets a little bit cooler at night time. But just being away from like a cell tower is quite nice, quite refreshing. You do weird things like just walk into the middle of the desert for no reason, just to see a sunset. But it's pretty cool. I quite liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
And then we finished off our trip by spending a couple of days in a hotel in Phoenix. That's right, Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale, cool place.
Well, the idea was we would spend 3 nights because we kept looking at the weather in Phoenix, which was like a lot. It was still warm like everywhere, but Phoenix was like really warm. We were like, let's just end 3 days in a hotel with a pool, nice hot weather. Yeah. By the time that we went to Phoenix, it was like 20 degrees and
oh God, heavens
above,
20 degrees. There was rain in the background somewhere, but do you know what? Beautiful
yeah,
place.
it was still great.
Scottsdale, really cool, hip, trendy place, walkable, which I like. Which
Scottsdale is very cool.
Unusual for a lot of America. We did hire a car. We hired lots of cars, but on the last day we hired a car. We got ourselves a Cybertruck. If you don't know what a Cybertruck is, head over to the Chris and Becca TikTok to see our review on it. One thing I will say is, I am terrible at filming these things, like the journey of anything.
It's because we forget.
It's because we're having fun.
Yeah.
So
we're really bad at picking up our phones and actually taking pictures, and we've always been terrible at doing that.
The amount of times, like, I can remember saying to you in the morning of the festival, like, we have to take video today to actually prove you were there.
Yeah.
You know? Me personally, like, I like just join like the artist that is on and I forget to take video or content of it. But I think that's quite a good thing. Whereas you see other people just like they're just filming the whole entire thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
they're watching it through your lens.
Yeah. If that's the case, just sit at home, save yourself. The prices of beer.
Oh my goodness.
Dear God. You guys know Chris doesn't like to spend money. $14 for a can of Bud Light.
Yep.
You can get a pack of Bud Light here, 18 cans of it, for about slightly more.
In England, about £12.
Yeah, so
in
about
Scotland,
$14.
£18.
Which is wild. But I will say I feel quite refreshed. I feel tired.
Yeah.
I feel like ready and energized and I'm ready for another holiday. I know that sounds weird, but what I mean is I feel confident in leaving this place and the dogs. Yes, guys, you did a relatively good job.
Wow, big compliments from Chris.
I'll be honest, the place was a mess outside, but that again is because I probably didn't set expectations that you shouldn't have 150 pallets lying outside for the neighbours to complain as soon as I drive in, like I've not been here for 2 weeks and don't know anything about it. I'm going to move them because we are renovating Unit 4. We spoke about that in the last pod that we've got it. We're building it a massive, it's 10 metre by 8 metre office, no? 8 metre by 4 metre office, something like that.
It's just under 10 metres. I can't remember how wide it is though.
Yeah, huge office.
Well, so when I couldn't sleep last night, I was like, oh, bugger it. I'm actually, because my mind was like, oh, I was really tired, but my mind was just going. I had loads of ideas. So I guess when you're saying like refreshed, I am like refreshed work-wise. Like I've got loads of ideas, lots of things on the go, excited to get going, but I'm so tired like physically. But when I couldn't sleep, I was like, right. Looking at desks, I found a really good website for desks and stuff for the office. Expensive,
of course,
looks
it's
really
cheap, is it, honey?
good.
Jesus Christ. Right, so we're trying to future-proof everything here for the next, like, I'd say 5 years is fair. 2030 is when we think we'll move to, like, probably the new premises, like the purpose-built one. Or sell Neil Order and go retire in the Caribbean.
Nah.
Retire in the Caribbean, no?
Nah, not yet.
Nah. Okay, what about the new business idea?
Which one?
The one I started getting some GoDaddy domains from.
We have do you know what? On holiday we got loads of new business ideas, didn't we?
We're
not going to do any of them.
Happens. It always happens. I can't tell you even about Swig. I can't tell you about it.
Well, Swig is not our business.
Yeah. One thing I will say is, so currently you guys know that we've got Unit 4, 5 and 6, currently sitting in 6. We've got 4 renovating and 5 is the normal one. There's potentially another unit coming up for rent in this industrial park, and we have been bypassed. I feel... Because
we've been betrayed.
Yeah, I think it's just been given to somebody else and they've not even asked us.
It's because they don't want us to monopolise it, and I do understand it from their point of view.
We pay the rent.
Yes, but it's a big risk. If we were to up and leave, half the park would be empty.
Yeah,
and if we were to up and leave with a fourth one, 2/3 would be empty. So it's a big risk for a landlord.
Yeah, but he should know better.
What, that we're going to be fine?
Yep.
And that we've got other business ideas?
Yep.
But there's only one business idea that would work over there.
2. Your new one.
Which new one?
And
you can't say that. Don't keep that in. Bleep it out.
Okay.
Bleep it out. But which one's my one? Bleep this out. Oh, the stuff's really small. There's plenty of space.
I said how many lines do you think you would bring?
And then I went,
you just went.
Beep, 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 beep,
and I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's at least 25 lines, and this is before we've even like properly launched it as a new company, potentially as a new company. Okay, company. As an offset and Nail Order. Anyway, we've done 10 minutes. That's the intro.
Make sure you bleep all that.
Oh heck yeah! Competition, you can't find out
everybody
nothing.
Everybody hates us right now. So
yeah. Okay, so. The reason I got this idea is because I thought to myself, like, I really only know nails, I would say, from the last 15 years. I've not really focused on nail trends before that. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder how many people are like new nail techs. I never thought to go back and search like history and stuff like that. It's weird that, like for instance, I like cars, you know? So we were on holiday and like you see like really old, like 1930s,
Especially they're
1920s
so cool.
cars and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh God, I love that. And I could tell you that, you know, that's an F100 or an F-150 or a C10.
Ford Model T.
Yeah, something like that, you know, and that's because I like it and I research it. But I wonder how many people have started doing nails, maybe in the last 2, 3, 5 years, and never thought to go back and check history. So,
And as we know, trends always come back around.
always come back around. That's a good point, Rebecca. They do always come back around. And do you know what I'm alluding to? Anyway. Okay.
No, I don't know.
I'm in a really funny mood today. Do you know what it is? You know that way when you're tired and you're a bit delirious already and then you get hyped up on coffee and Red Bull? No, I shouldn't be drinking Red Bull, guys. But needs must. And today, I mean, right now, 18 degrees C in Scotland.
It's beautiful out there. It's the morning, so it's gonna get warmer. And the whole of next week is mid-20s.
Yeah. And all Rebecca says is, this place is a mess. This place is a mess. By that, she means our house. So it means that I can't sit outside and enjoy a beer and a barbecue. I have to like mow the lawn and stuff like that. I'm getting that lawn. Anyway, so we're going to start with the 1920s. Cast your mind back to when you were a young pup, Rebecca, to the 1920s.
Let's go.
And what I've done is I've got a little bit of research here and I'm just going to read what the trend is and a little bit about it. And maybe you can just discuss it and tell me your thoughts and opinions on it.
Okay.
Yeah? We need to fill an hour here, love, okay?
I'm in such a negative mood. I need to stop it. I'm
Right.
just so goddamn tired.
Also, guys, we're going to launch a competition in 1 second.
Oh, yes,
And
we are going to be launching a competition.
And before we do that, I'm just going to say, I have actually caused myself more editing later because every time I'm going to talk about a trend, I'm going to have to go find pictures about that trend and put them onto the video because you don't want to look at my face on YouTube. You'd rather look at these actual things. So if you're listening in audio format, thank you so much. The download numbers are just going up and up. If you're watching on YouTube, well, the numbers are going down and down. And that's because we've not really been promoting it recently because we have been away.
I don't think the numbers have been going down. It's not going up.
Right, okay. So more editing is going to be required for this one. So if you could possibly, if you're enjoying this, take a screenshot and share it to your stories. And that leads us on to what we're going to do for a competition for the month of May.
No, I think we're going to do it every month.
By the time this comes out, it'll be almost at the end of the month of May. So this is going to be your best opportunity.
Once a month, we are going to do this.
Okay.
A competition. And the competition is for the chance to win a £50 voucher to spend on, or store credit for the website for nail order. So it will only be open to registered customers. And what you got to do is, what do you got to do?
Wow. So you need to obviously be subscribed to us on a platform. So that's either YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, however you enjoy the podcast. And I'd like you to do a screenshot, share it to your stories, and tag us on Instagram, Nail on Sunday. That Nail on Sunday Instagram is going to be appearing in front of you.
So you've got to also be following Nail on Sunday.
Following Nail on Sunday.
Right, so let's look at the steps you've got to do. You have got to be subscribed on a platform for the podcast, which is either YouTube or where you listen to your podcasts.
Yep.
You have got to be following Chris and Becca Nail on Sunday. And most importantly, because this is what's going to initiate the competition entries, is you have to screenshot on your stories and tag Chris and Becca.
No, tag Nail on Sunday.
Yeah, what am I talking about?
Because we have a Chris and Becca one as well.
Okay, don't tag Chris and Becca.
You can tag Chris and Becca if you want, but tag Nail on Sunday.
Tag the Nail on Sunday.
So what's going to
Instagram.
have to happen here is I'm going to have to give Rebecca access to that, and that's going to be her new job. That's going to be her new job.
Excellent. Right. So got to do those three things. Tag on stories, Nail on Sunday, and maybe just like tag a screenshot of your like favorite episode or tell people about what it is if you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to get back to clipping up these for shorts as well. So if you see one that you like, maybe share it as well.
Yeah. That'd be excellent.
Yeah. All right. All that said, let's get into today's pod, 50 minutes in. The 1920s, and we're going to start with a moon manicure. That was a trend in the 1920s. Now, there probably was other trends. I'm just picking one from that time.
I didn't even like think that 100 years ago people would be painting their nails.
I know. Actually, the more you get on this, you think to yourself, holy smokes. So leaving a half moon at the base of the nail bare or painted in a contrasting colour for a sophisticated flapper-inspired look. Mm-hmm. Flapper. Is that a duck-inspired? No, anyway, I know what flapper is. But also, as I have went in to look at different pictures of this, it's not just at the base of it. Sometimes it's at the top, kind of like a French, but more like half moon at the top as well. Anyway, so that's just two that I've looked at. So the flapper inspired look. I would say the 1920s were like one of the best decades ever that I didn't get to live in.
That style, see, it's coming back to me now. I think when we were in the salon Elixir, at the beginning of the time there, that style was kind of in, actually. I feel like that we were doing a few sets like that. So Chris will flash up on the screen if you don't know what we're talking about. But I actually really like it. I like sort of cuticle detail nail art. I think it's really nice.
Okay.
Even if it's just sort of plain like that.
So, I mean, over 100 years ago.
Crazy.
In those times, you just had motor cars.
Motor cars.
Was the Great Oppression on? No, because you had the Great Gatsby.
Depression, you mean?
Yeah, the Great Depression.
Was that not in like the
30s, 40s? Anyway, so you had like things.
So good at history.
I remember watching the Great Gatsby movie on an airplane once and thinking to myself, God, that was an epic. It was
very
time.
glitzy and glamorous.
Yeah, I think that's really been America really started to come through the ranks because, well, let's be honest, America's only been around for about 100 years.
That's when women first started to become a little bit less oppressed.
Yes.
The skirt length got a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's like when the suffragette movement was around and things like that. So it was a little bit, so women were able to express themselves a little bit more. So I think you can see that with the nail trend.
So what my thought was with that is that's relatively intricate in terms of like painting your nails. So they must have had like just regular nail varnish, I'm guessing, air dry nail varnish. And people must have actually not only been painting their own nails, but maybe going to like a salon.
I don't know, but I don't think there would have been such thing as a nail salon.
You don't think? Because think about it, like these women.
Google it. But were there nail salons in the 1920s?
Yes, nail salons existed in the 1920s, while modern nail salons experience. While the modern nail salon experience with elaborate design service is prevalent today, basic nail care services and manicures were offered in salons during this era. The 1920s also saw the development of mass nail polish. That's probably when actual nail care arose. Yeah, actually, yes.
Imagine, like, it must have been such an alien idea to put a colour on your nails prior to it existing. Like, what when you really think about it, what a random thing to do.
Yeah. So this is a Google search. The other search I did was my girlfriend, ChatGPT. But in this one it says they were known for the Luna look, whereas ChatGPT said the moon manicure. So I guess it's the same.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. But yeah, so that seems to be it. If you were to do a design of the moon manicure, the Luna design, how would you do it now?
Very much the same as doing a French, but just a lot lower down the nail.
Right. So would you do it with like a base, maybe like a, I don't know, say Cinegel, for example, as a base, and use that colour as the base colour and then change the colour on top?
Well, the idea is trying to have that cut out bit as natural looking as possible. So...
Would you just go base coat?
No, I might do something like Chaos.
Cinegel Chaos. It's a hybrid gel.
Wait, yeah, Chaos. Yeah, Cinegel Chaos. And then...
Because that's, I mean, flexible, ultra fine. Not that we're going to talk about our nail products on this show, but chaos causes
and then
chaos.
red, Caliente.
But see, there's other styles other decades I'm going to talk about, and red is really prevalent.
I feel like red would have been prevalent. I feel like red would have been the main colour from when nail polish first started out. I feel like they wouldn't have had like black and orange and whatever. I feel like it would have been very much like pink and red. That's it.
Well, I mean, let's just discuss that. Red, I would say, is like the most timeless colour of nails that people have had the nails
most
painted.
Classic.
But it's quite a bold choice, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Think about it, red nails.
But think about what you put in your lips.
You're getting on to the 1950s. You stop that right now. But yeah, that's the thing.
It's to complement, isn't it?
It is.
The same way that your bag and your shoes are meant to complement each other, I guess back then, certainly, your lips and your nails would complement each other.
Correct. And that's what we'll come on to in a little bit. All I'm just going to say is, guys just don't do this. Guys at the very most, will pick either a black or a brown wallet or something.
But that's because guys never had to make a point. You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking recently, especially with the whole new Pope. And came to the realisation, I'm not ever one to think about, like, I don't a lot think about, like, women's rights.
What happened recently? Something happened. I can't remember what it was. And we left that situation. I was like, I can't believe you were treated that way.
Oh, yeah, it was at the airport.
Oh,
It started at the airport. There was loads and loads of little things.
so imagine, right?
It's the sexism. So what Chris is alluding to is sexism.
Yeah, sexism. So we went to drop our bags at the airport in Glasgow? Edinburgh. That's why it didn't ring a bell, because it was a different airport. In Edinburgh. And this older chap was there, and he was checking our bags. Now, because Rebecca is so skinny these days, and because we were going to a hot country, her suitcase was very light because she didn't pack that many clothes. She's actually really, really good at it. And I would say that my bag has always been over yours in the last year, 2 years.
Yeah, recently yours has been more heavy.
And the chap said, "Oh, that must be her bag," when I put my bag up. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird, isn't it? And what he was getting at was, well, her bag must be heavier because of all our crap in it. You know?
Do you remember when we were in Oatman and the woman who sold us the donkey food?
Yes.
She was really sexist as well. It was a woman being sexist.
Yeah. So we were
towards women,
feeding some donkeys, and she said that the best thing to do is break it up so you get more out of the bag. And she was like, "But you're going to need your husband to do it because."
But anyway, generally, like, I don't think about these things very much. Like, I'm not one to think, oh yeah, like women are so downtrodden, and you know, we're second class citizens to men and stuff like that. I'm just kind of one of those, like, some people are better at some things than others, etc., right?
I think that's because you're quite advanced just in your thinking.
Like, I don't have a poor me complex.
Yeah, but also I think you prove a lot of men wrong quite often.
Yeah, I like to do that. Yeah.
So.
But also my husband is very empowering, and it's like, for instance, he has me moving heavy things a lot.
Don't talk about my like
that. You're taking that out, right? You'll be taking that out. Anyway, yeah, so he has me moving heavy things a lot. And we'll be lifting something heavy. I don't know. We're always doing crazy things. Imagine we're carrying a fridge. Now, you're probably thinking, why the hell are you carrying a fridge? It's something that happens to us, right? So a cat will be carrying a fridge, and a man will come along and they'll go, "Oh, let me help you with that," right? Which is really nice, which is really kind. And Chris will go, no. She's strong.
Strong as an ox.
At the same time, though, you would, if one of us had to carry something heavy, you would carry it. But
also, if I seen a woman carrying a heavy thing, I'd be the first to run over and say, "Let me carry that for you."
Which in itself is sexist.
I know, but how many times did I do it? Like, we were walking up the stairs to a train station once, and there was an elderly couple in front of me.
I was just in Italy.
And I grabbed the lady's suitcase, and I said, "Let me grab that for you. Like, take it up the stairs." And she was thankful for it. But it's because
it's both sexist and very kind and courteous. But yes, so going back to it. Yeah, don't generally think about that, but then I sort of fell down like a rabbit hole. I was really delirious because we'd just come off the plane at this time. And they were looking for a new pope. And I came to the realization that, like, a woman will never be the pope. Ever. I do reckon maybe in 2 rounds' time, 2 popes' time, maybe there'll be a female cardinal. So maybe there will be somebody in the mix there. Maybe. But a woman will never be the pope. I also came to the realization that, like, you know, there's countries where until very recently it's been illegal for women to drive. And that, you know, women couldn't have the vote. Now, there's never been any men that couldn't drive or any men that couldn't vote and things like that. It's just really crazy when you think about it.
I would love to visit Saudi Arabia. I just have that on my cards, but I know going there, especially after being in places like Dubai and stuff like that, that I would last less than a day.
I wouldn't go.
So, yeah.
So, what does this have to do with nail trends?
I don't know.
You saying that, like, men just wouldn't. I think it's because women, they've got, it's almost like something to prove, isn't it? Like, to stand out above the crowd, and I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
When you think about men as well, we do it in a slightly different way. So, for instance, right now, the mustache is a big craze, and it was back in the 1920s. And especially in America, like, you see some people with, like, wicked mustaches. Like, I want to get rid of my beard just now and have a mustache, but I don't know. If
you look way back into history, like hundreds of years ago, men equally wore as much makeup as women, I think.
Yeah.
And the same sort of level of elaborate clothing. And then as time went on, men just realised that they have all the rights and they don't need to do anything and they can just be men. They just gave up on everything.
Gave up. Yeah. Cameron right now, who works for us, he's so glamorous, and it does show me up. Sometimes he comes in and he just looks so pristine.
He's glamorous, but he's subtly glamorous.
Yeah, and sometimes I just think to myself, I should really actually try more than
like,
just
wearing
shorts and
he's got
t-shirt.
makeup on, but it's very subtle.
Yeah. But like, he had a shirt on the other day there, and I thought to myself, damn, that's just a nice shirt. Do you know what? I was actually going to wear my new shirts on the pod and I forgot all about it.
Your
Remind me,
horse
guys. My horse ones. But yeah.
Your pony ones.
Yeah.
Good.
I got these shirts for Stagecoach and I actually bloody really like them. Anyway, back to today's pod. Dear
Let's move
God.
on to the 30s.
1930s, when you were born, Rebecca. No, I'm kidding, honey.
No idea what we're gonna say. What you're gonna say about the 30s?
Okay. For us, this is gonna be like, what the? This is how evolution happens. Evolution of our business. Frosted and pearlized polishes.
Oh,
Soft, shimmery finishes adds a touch of elegance and glamour to manicures.
So I'm imagining what happened here. If nail polish first became available to the masses in the 20s, it's a natural evolution, isn't it? So they'd have started with very basic colours, probably like red, maybe then into a pink, and then expanded the colours like we do with our business here. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So do you think that type of thing has come back around since you've been doing nails?
For sure, because last year we saw the people using sort of pearlized gels and just doing a very gentle swirl in them.
Yeah.
You know, so very, very easy to make a really effective look.
The first thing
we've got new pearl colours coming out this weekend, tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's a mixture of different. Our new mermaid range will be out by the time you hear this.
Yeah.
But a couple of them are sort of pearlized.
Also, when I was reading this, doing the research, I was thinking like the jewellery back then. You had a lot of pearls. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, so that again, that kind of complements
that was probably
it.
like an inspiring as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for sure.
So yeah, I thought that was quite a cool trend. Next up, we've got the 1940s. Short, rounded nails. Practical, shorter nails became the norm, often painted in classic reds and subtle hues. Why do you think that was? Think about that decade, 1940s.
The war.
You're right, the war. Holy smokes. I'm going to guess.
So women had ended up with much more hands-on jobs.
Yes.
When the men were all away, they had to do all the much more the manual jobs.
Yeah, remember we at band camp just fanning about, smoking cigars and drinking beer, pretending they're fighting the war. No,
but the women were working the land and working the factories.
Yeah, and I do think that's exactly what it was. And probably what happened is, you imagine a woman at that time who's maybe got 2-3 kids and would normally look after the home. Their husband's away now, so they've got to look after the kids, look after the home, and go to work. My tummy is growling here. They're not going to have time to go to the salon. Salon's probably going to be closed because
the salon probably was closed, I would imagine.
Because that lady is working in a factory or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, short nails, I would say, has made a comeback recently.
Oh, sure. And kind of rounder styles as well. You know, maybe sort of 2 years ago, it was a very short, sharp square. Like very short, I would say.
Yeah.
Not like 90 sharp square. But now we're much more rounded, almondy. They are easier to look after by far.
That's my tummy talking. Would you say, again, I don't wear nails, so I don't really know. And I've got flat nails, so apparently. You're saying easier to look after. If you have, say, for instance, short, sharp, square, or even a long square nail, and you're typing, do the edges start to wear and round?
The edges can wear, and obviously there's much more surface area of the nail. So just in general, they just feel a little bit more in the way, a little bit more bulky, I guess, just because there's more surface area. Oh my God, like the shape of mine. But, you know, essentially add on the sides.
Yeah.
So yeah, much easier to keep.
And they retain their shape for longer,
Yeah.
making your manicure last longer.
Yeah, really good point.
One thing, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about like the recession that is kind of impending and stuff like that. And one marker for recession things is women's beauty care.
Which is interesting for somebody to say that, because last recession, it was the least affected industry.
It was, but do you remember what the caveat to that was? People would say for instance, get their nails done or get their hair done. So we're talking about the great housing bubble of 2008, 2009. Again, a time where Rebecca and I absolutely flourished. The reason, or one of the reasons we stuck at beauty or got really like into beauty, is because the kind of key metric that came out after that time was people would still get their beauty treatments done. They would just get them cheaper.
True.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You think about, say, for instance, 2020 COVID and everything else, people changed the way they did their beauty treatments. A lot of people started doing it at home, you know?
And then when they came back, they would get them done, but they would go longer between.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right now, we're going through this kind of period of everyone's starting to kind of pull back a little bit. I've definitely noticed the way I've been acting, you know, in terms of like spending and stuff recently. although we've just been on holiday and I feel like America is so bloody expensive right now. I've spent so much money. Even just going out for like just dinner, you're always $100. It's weird. But they were saying the great roots of like the Great Recession, and that's one of the things. Women stop getting their hair coloured as much. So for instance, if you're normally quite dark, your hair's quite dark, and you get say like an ombre or a blonde or something, you go longer in between it, so you notice the roots. So that was one of the things. So I would say, yeah, short nails and that kind of rounded shape, easier to maintain, go longer in between.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right, right in the 1950s. Classic red revival. Red nails symbolises glamour and elegance, retaining a staple of the decade.
But Marilyn Monroe?
Yes, I would say the 50s is when people started to feel normal again after the war had ended. Yep. It felt safe, it felt secure.
People could start to express themselves.
That's it, express themselves, get back to it. Money started to become more affluent. Again, it's weird. Every time I think about all of these decades, I automatically think about America. But I think that's because it was publicized in Hollywood and TV shows. And
it was just generally a lot more glamorous. Hollywood, like you say. It's always been Hollywood that sort of. Yeah.
When I think about the 50s, I think about the huge cars, the women with their hair, the short skirts and stuff like that. And red staple nails is one of them.
There wasn't short skirts, but
no.
Oh. Short skirts came in the 60s.
60s. But yes, so when I was doing the research, in the 1950s, they were talking about how the staple red colour would match people's lipstick.
Yes.
And that was a big thing. So I'm guessing the 50s is when makeup started to make a big comeback, a big resurgence, after the war and stuff like that.
Like you said, after the war, people, they were free to express themselves, they had more money, they had time.
Time, yes, yes. In terms of just thinking about nail order, reds are something that was really important to you guys when we first started. And I would say reds as a collection, you guys chose more of them to begin with. Why do you think like red is such a staple, and why like now there's so many different shades?
I don't know. Red has always been, well, it's a colour synonymous with love.
That's very true.
So I guess it's a colour synonymous with femininity.
But if you think about each season, right? So for instance, in the wintertime, Louis and Louis Glitz is polished.
Louis a bit bright, caliente. Well, people want dark reds in the wintertime.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. So dark or glittery reds. Then straight after that, you've got Valentine's Day. You've got maybe brighter reds. And then you'll go into like spring and summer and you'll have...
like watermelon. It's not red, but it's on the spectrum of red. Louis, fever.
Fever, yeah, Jesus, for sure. Yeah. So again, it's not just seasonal. Sorry, it's not just seasonal through decades. It's seasonal throughout the actual year itself,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, red. When was the last time you had red in your nails?
I've got fever on my toes right now.
Have you? Have you? Sorry. So, really?
I used to be obsessed with having red on my nails.
Did you?
Yeah, I honestly, putting fever on my toes was a massive regret as soon as I did it because I'm so goddamn pale. And I was like, why have I done that? It looks gross. But on a nice darker skin tone, beautiful. Just because it's so luminous. Looks like tomato soup on my toes.
When we were on holiday, I would say, like for instance, in Scottsdale, there was a lot of rich people that would walk about barefooted, and they all have white toes.
Did they?
Yeah,
I didn't notice this. You perv.
Well, I don't look at people's toes, but again, just because in the industry, I notice it. And what you tend to find is like British people have white toes. Why is that?
I don't know.
Is it because they can keep it up? As
it looks nice for a tan, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose they have the upkeep of going back to the salon. All right, so let's get into the 1960s when I was born. Pastels and nudes. Soft pastels and nude shades became popular, reflecting the minimalist and mod fashion trends of the era.
Okay.
So, pastels.
Yeah, if you think about the clothes.
The hippie dippy movement and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
You did have like quite bold colours, but there was also like the pastel colours as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, big mix of colours.
So pastels and nudes. I'm just thinking like of how we create our gel polishes and stuff like that. I'm just trying to think back then. Like, so they'd be putting pigment in, but do we go for like really, really dark reds? Imagine scaling that back and going for pastels and stuff like that.
Pastel yellow.
Pastel yellow. That must be like hard to get right. I'd actually like to, if we have time at the very end, research some of the brands who were around back then and see if they're still there today.
Let me think. Let me try and think of one off the top of my head. Sally Hansen.
Sally Hansen.
Maybe.
Is that the name of a company?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I wonder. We'll find out.
Okay, we'll find out then.
We'll
Stay
find out.
tuned at the end, guys.
Oh, exciting.
We've got stuff incoming at the end. This is actually lasting for me.
So when we move on to the 70s, can I guess what might have been in?
So in terms, let's just go for pastels and nudes again. So I would say nudes are always in.
Yeah, and like Chris said, the hippy dippy, like, back to your earth and stuff like that. So maybe that's why nudes.
Pastels, I'd say that's very clean girl these days. What I'm trying to do is like just picture how those trends back then now translate to today. Would you say that the kind of clean girl aesthetic is kind of pastels, or is it more
I think
muted nudes?
Clean girl aesthetic is more nudes, but if someone with a clean girl aesthetic tries to be a little bit out there,
Oh, a little bit edgy.
Alex Lee, they might introduce some pastels. And be like, I'm really brave. Look how cool and crazy my nails are. A little bit of pastels.
Gotcha. She's so bougie and rich, so she can afford it. All right, so 1970s.
Right, can I guess?
Yeah, please guess. Look, she's getting into this now. It's only
Did
taking
they
40
start to
minutes.
bring in glitters?
No.
Oh.
Incorrect. Wow.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
The
Black. Dark.
Right, do you want to just keep going through every single topic until you get it right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just tell you.
Long.
Wow. This is what it's like to live, Rebecca. Okay, so in the 1970s, natural nails, pale polish. Minimalist, clean and natural look nails with pale pinks and clear polishes were the norm, while disco glitters also made an entrance.
I see. You lied to me.
No, so what I would say is disco, I would say that came like late 70s into early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, this is just the research that I've done. Was that what you were getting at? The kind of disco era?
Disco.
All right. So before that, so the natural nails, I'd say the natural has probably moved on from the kind of hippie.
Yeah, I would say it's probably like we say, everything is in a cycle. So it's probably like, it's been, at this point, 50 years since natural naked nails have been in fashion before the 1920s. So maybe it's just like a secular thing.
Yeah. What I'm going to say is like the 1960s, cyclical. The 1960s, everybody was like puffing that big weed stuff and they were probably out their face. And then all of a sudden...
LSD, man.
Yeah, they came into the 70s and they sobered up. They grew up a little bit and they were like, oh, let's just go for regular nails, Maybe something like that. Maybe they wanted to just be more normal because their train of thought was slightly more normal. What is normal? We were listening to a podcast. It was a pod the other day, or was it the news or something? They were talking about...
It was a podcast.
They were talking about...
it was an iced coffee hour.
So it was.
And it was a psychiatrist.
And they were saying that 63% of people are suspected to have brain conditions. Not brain conditions.
Mental condition, like a mental health.
So things like ADHD, ADD,
depression,
bipolar,
anxiety.
Yeah.
So my question was, when we were listening to this.
Great question at the time.
Right. My question was, if 70% of people have these, I don't think it was as high as that, but whatever it was over 50%, then the 30% or whatever it is of people left are the minority. So they're not normal. So there is no such thing as
at that
normal.
point in time, the host kept referring to people who don't have these things as normal.
I was like, but then they're not normal because normal means the majority, the average.
Yeah.
But then that's not.
Yeah. So there you go. If you agree or have any thoughts on that, please leave some comments down below.
It was actually a really good podcast because it was talking about opathies as well, like sociopathy, psychopathy, all sorts of things. It's very interesting.
Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan. You guys might know him from the TV show. I'm going to go on something.
Do you know what, right? So when I came in to the office, everyone was like, did you see anyone famous? Because at Stagecoach and like, do you know, by the way, seen this so much on TikTok, Zach Bryan was in the crowd watching Creed.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh. So anyway, the reason I'm
he's tiny.
Zach Bryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
he's
that.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Anyway, not as tiny as a person that Chris saw.
Graham Stephan, I know him from YouTube. He's like a big money guy, and I used to follow him a long time ago when every episode wasn't the same. he used to work for the Oppenheim Group,
Selling Sunset.
which is Selling Sunset that you guys will know from the Netflix show. Anyway, imagine us, Rebecca and I, were in the crowd watching Zach Bryan at Stagecoach.
First, I've got to preface this with Chris is terrible at recognising people. Right? So we had a game for the whole holiday, and because Chris will go, and he's done this his whole life, right? Go, oh my God, I think that's such and such over there, and it's like he'll be like, oh, I think that's Eddie Murphy over there, and it's literally like
just a dude with
Boris
mustache.
Johnson or something, like completely nothing alike. And I'm like, no, Chris, it's not. So the whole holiday we were just pretending. We were
very fortunate that we got to fly right at the very front of the plane on the way, and there was a guy sitting across from us.
We used points and vouchers.
Yeah, we don't actually pay for it.
Podcast episode coming to you soon, eventually.
Yeah, and I said to Rebecca when we got up, I was like, "That's that guy from that TV show, Desi Rascals." And right away, she was like, "Stop being racist." And I'm like, no, it's not because of that. The guy just looked like one of the guys from it.
He was a much more attractive man.
So I had to Google him and everything else. And he looked similar. In terms of his hair was very similar, his beard was very similar. He was quite, I think he was going to LA for like a TV show or something like that. So he was quite buff as well.
He was very attractive.
So that just sent us on a spiral. So anytime I seen someone who resembles somebody who could have been famous, I'm like, oh, there's Eddie Murphy or someone like that, you know? Anyway, I'm watching Zach Bryan. I'm really into it. He's such a great singer and everything else.
And we were very lucky because the tickets that we got, they were
right down the front.
We were at the very, 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 very front. So we can literally touch the stage, be on the stage.
So it's coming towards the end of the set, and this group of people coming towards us. Pretty girl, pretty girl, pretty girl, Jason Oppenheim, pretty girl, pretty girl, pretty girl. And I'm like, to Rebecca, I was like, that's a guy from Selling Sunset, Jason. Tiny little guy.
And I was like, ha ha ha. And he goes, no, really? And I turn around and I see the back of his head. I was like, oh, so it is. Tiny, tiny guy.
Yeah, it's like 4'2". So I got that one right, and then I got Dasha right as well. You want to tell me Dasha?
Yeah, Dasha. So we caught Dasha as the first act as we walked in on the second day, was it?
Yeah.
So as we came into the festival, she was playing. So then we went round to our special little bit and into the little pit bit at the front. And we were watching her, and then later on we were watching Shabuzi.
Yeah, so she was dancing and all that sort of stuff, and I kept thinking to myself, that's a great outfit that she's got on, you know?
It was very recognisable outfit.
Yeah. We went off, did some stuff, come back, watched Shabuzi. He finished, we were going someplace else to see somebody else, probably Diplo's Honky Tonk.
Do not.
And
there's two words that I never want to hear again. Oh, okay, several words. Diplo's Honky Tonk and Nelly. If I hear those words ever again, the trauma, whenever, genuinely, several times after that, I heard a Nelly song and immediately I had flashbacks.
Yeah. What was I saying? So we, as soon as like Shabuzi was like, and this is my band.
So
and
we were like walking out the
get out
crowd, like weaving through the crowd, and we're weaving, and we weave right past, as in she is the person beside us.
Dasha.
Having a hardcore dance.
Yeah, loving it. And again, she had the outfit on. That's why
she had the outfit.
She was tall.
She was tall.
There you go.
And 99% sure that we were stood beside Brad Pitt in the pit as well.
Oh yeah, Brad Pitt. Yeah, this guy.
He was so identical. I'm still kind of convinced. I'm like, it actually could be. I'm so convinced that I started Googling like his ears to try and like see his like ear shape.
And she was talking about me looking at people's toes. Jesus Christ, freak. Anyway, so let's get back to the podcast, honey. The 1970s at the very end, glitter and
Makes sense.
disco.
Obviously.
So I would say that's when probably glitter started to make like its appearance into it. So that would maybe make people think, how can we get these things to stick on a little bit better? And I would say maybe around about then, UV polish might have been started to be thinking about.
Or UV gels.
UV gels. That leads us on to the 1980s, which I would say is probably one of the greatest decades of all time.
Because you were born.
Because you were born, honey.
I was born at the very end, just as an FYI. Chris was born at the very beginning.
Oh, people don't care. People don't care. They just see your beauty. They don't see your age, how old you are.
Do you know what? Talking of which, do you know who comes up on my For You page quite a lot?
Pam Anderson.
Russell.
Dickerson?
No.
Brand.
Nope. The other one. The one who's 50 and looks like he's 25.
Oh, dear.
What is his name? Russell, comedian, dark hair.
Okay.
Google Russell comedian, aged 50, looks young.
Russell Kane?
Yes.
He's 50?
And look at him. He is really into that biohacking.
Oh.
Like, it is unbelievable. He's reversed his hair loss. It's crazy.
I actually heard him on a podcast. He's quite annoying, but there we go. So maybe I should actually listen to that.
You should.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, you should.
Talking of hair loss, right? Obviously I've lost a lot of weight and I was not getting enough protein. So recently, as Chris talked about several episodes ago, I started drinking my Vimto protein thing. And I had noticed
clear protein.
Yeah. I've always had a lot of hair, right? So I always thought I could afford to lose some. But I had noticed a very light thinning at the front, just here and here, a very light thinning. But since I've been having my protein, look at this.
That baby hair.
Look at that.
I mean, for the audio listeners, I'll describe it to you. It's what looks like baby hair.
Yeah, right there.
But yeah, it's a lot lighter than your actual hair colour as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
There you go. On to the 1980s, like I said, one of the greatest decades. It wasn't really that great, if I'm honest with you. But, I mean,
I think it probably was quite fun.
Yeah, for sure. I remember starting primary school and having Apple computers and stuff like that. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we had one to share with the whole entire school. But
really? In the 80s, there was a computer?
Yeah. Personal computer.
Wow.
And a mouse.
Interesting.
There you go. 1980s. Bold colours and neons. Bright neon shades reflected the vibrant, bold fashion of the decade, making a loud statement.
Makes total sense. When we think 80s, we think
Shelters.
neon signs.
Shelters.
Miami colours, blue and pink.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I've actually got a t-shirt and I wore it one day and Rebecca was like, you actually going to wear that out? I'm like, it's the Miami Grand Prix this weekend. I'll fit in. And she was like, you're the other side of the country. But there you go. It's a blue shirt and it has pink flamingos on it.
Yeah, neon-y.
And that would...
it makes total sense.
Neons, I would say, are both, similar to reds, both cyclical but also seasonal. So, for instance, right now, we are going from spring to summer. I know that every time I go pick up a gel polish from an order for a customer, there's going to be some sort of neon in it.
Vibe, trance,
Palm Springs.
watermelon.
Yeah, all those ones.
Palm Springs is not a neon.
Is it not?
No.
Okay, well, I did pick it up.
But it has been very, very popular recently.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say that makes complete sense. Would you say that comes back around every now and again, or do you think neons are just...
I think neons are kind of always
staples?
there, especially for nail art.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's the added something to something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, for instance, if you're a bit boring, a bit cold in the wintertime, you just go for one single muted colour, and then the summer comes and you're like, oh, yeah, beer garden, me and you, let's go. And you would maybe get something funky on your nails. Funky. Coffee's lasting well today.
Good for you.
I like it. You're looking sleepy and sleepy. I'm trying to get
sleepy.
through
I
this.
wish that I could have caffeine. I really, really wish.
Do you want to tell people why you can't have caffeine? Because you poo yourself? No, I'm kidding.
No, because
it makes her feel sick.
I have an intolerance.
Yeah. And the thing is, she loves Starbucks.
/ allergy. Sure. Makes me unwell. Really, I feel unwell.
Shaky and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, just really a malaise. If anyone knows what malaise means, it just means like a general feeling of unwell.
Yeah. I have that when I don't have caffeine. At the end of this, remind me to talk about the best coffee I've ever had. And I don't like coffee. Okay, so on to the 90s. Can you guess what the 90s were? Come on, think about it.
French.
Easy. What?
French acrylics.
French, you're right. French manicure. The French tip is with a white tip or nude or pink
Acrylics
base.
were really big then.
Became an iconic staple of the 90s.
Yeah.
I would say late 90s.
Think Pamela Anderson.
Yes, that is a classic. Do you see Pamela Anderson at the Met Gala?
I did.
Beautiful.
Do you think?
I think she's got a beautiful soul.
Oh.
I think she does.
It's very interesting the way that she's gone with things.
I think it's because of everything that's happened. Yeah. So
crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy how polar opposite.
Yeah. But I seen an interview with her ages ago and I just thought you're actually quite an nice person.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, so French manicure, 90s, I would have guessed that. Can anyone guess what the 2000s brought? It is a continuation of the 90s.
Long?
Acrylic nails. Long, square acrylic nails with French tips or bright colours dominated the early 2000s. Again, that makes sense. And I would say at that point in time is when you noticed a massive insurgence of non-standard salons.
Yes, I would say you are completely correct. Mid-noughties.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you know that it was probably 2013 or 2014 before I realised why the noughties were called the noughties? Because it was zeros and people call that knots. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Just sometimes things don't settle with me properly. Like, for instance, what was the other thing? When you're having a mare? I thought it was you just having like a female horse.
What was there not another one? Tenterhooks?
That song.
Trombolis?
Trombly, yeah. My lover's in the morning. He's got a trombolis. I didn't know what a trombolis was. I thought it was some sort of musical instrument. It's not. It's strong beliefs. That was about 30 years before I figured out that was the thing. Okay, so yeah, I would say early 2000s. I remember like Rebecca coming home with.
Well, we met in 2008.
2008, yeah.
And I would say
Coming home with acrylics for sure.
2008 was the very, very first time I had my nails done.
Right.
And I got them done in Debenhams.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And the brand that was in there was Nail. I can see it, but I can't think of it. They were really expensive and they were god awful.
They were terrible. It was 80 quid. I remember you.
Were they some really weird green colour or something?
Something
I
like
can't
that.
even think.
And I had not known Rebecca that long, and I remember the girl I was dating at the time. She would either get her nails done by herself, or she would either do them or paint them myself, or she would go to a salon, and they cost like, I don't know, £10-15 or something, you know.
But I was all bougie and went to the place
the
in
counter in
Debenhams.
Debenhams, and she was like, they're 80 quid. I'm like, they are disgusting for 80 quid.
Yeah. And then after that, I started going to non-standard salons. But the non-standard salon that we went to, or I went to, was a non-standard salon, wasn't it?
Non-conventional, non-standard salon.
Correct.
So, for instance, there was one person in it who would do the majority of the acrylic, but the prep and the refining and the airbrushing and stuff like that would have. Oh, leads me on to the next one. Would be from. Can I say white females? Is that the right thing to say?
Right. So, Kelvin, originally when we first met them, it was Kelvin and Alex. And Alex was Kelvin's uncle?
Dad, uncle, someone.
Something. And he was from China.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex was Chinese, but British born?
You mean Kelvin?
Sorry, Kelvin.
So Alex was from China, but Kelvin was from London, yeah.
From London. British born. But then everybody else who worked in the salon were...
Dundoney.
Yeah, from Dundee.
Yeah, just regular.
Dundonian girls.
Yeah. Regular, can I say regular?
So it was very, very unusual.
Yeah.
But the rest of the setup was exactly as a non-standard salon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay, so that takes us on to 2010s. And it is not written down here, but I have obviously just given up writing. And I've written gel polish. 2010s, gel polish came around, shellac. And at that point in time...
In fact, do you know what? CND... What era was it we were going to look at the oldest brands? CND will be, if you're going to look up the oldest brands that are still around today, is that what you're going to look up?
Yeah.
It'll be CND, OPI and Sally Hansen.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about gel polish real quickly and how that's changed while I do this research.
So whilst we've talked about this many times before, but our first business, we rented a space from the non-standard salon, and I was actually the person that introduced shellac to the salon. When it first came out, they had 8 colours, if I remember off the top of my head. They had a little stand that you could buy with the full kit. And I was the first person to introduce that.
Is that because we could actually go to salon services and they had it?
No, it wasn't from salon services. You couldn't buy it in salon services. Can't remember where we got it from. But anyway, yeah. So I introduced that to them, even though I wasn't, I'd learnt nails there. But I'd obviously seen this brand new innovative product. And for all that time, they were having to put their hands under the thing and dry them.
Yeah.
And it was just an absolute nightmare. And I was like, this is amazing. They can just walk out. So introduced it to the salon.
What about airbrushing? Do you want to touch on that real quick?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a weird thing now, isn't it? A lot of people poo-poo airbrushing.
Yes, because the reason is that people are, number one, it's kind of like smoking, right? We know a lot more now about how bad it might be for your health. And we think a lot more about our health these days, especially since COVID and our respiratory health especially. But more to the point, back then, when people were airbrushing with things, they were airbrushing with things that were meant to be airbrushed with. People are now airbrushing with UV gel, which obviously has monomers and things in it, which are definitely not meant to be inhaled. And you should really be wearing hardcore protective gear if you are going to do it. Anyway, with proper ventilation. So, yeah, that's why it's kind of got a bad rap now.
Gotcha.
But yeah, 2010s, or
Sure.
late 2000s shellac came
along, yeah.
around. Maybe 2009, 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
I would say 2009.
Okay, so 2010s takes us really to the what I would call COVID era, and that's when everything really kind of changed, but also stayed the same. So you had some like the rise and dominance of a lot of big brands, including nail order, because that's when we started.
What we said in 2020.
Established in 2020. I don't really want to touch on the last kind of 5 years because I don't think there's any point. Everyone is kind of clued up on what has gone on. I would definitely say the rise of things like Builder Gel, but then also the absolute fall off a cliff of things like Builder Gel, where a lot of people just refuse to do that type of treatment anymore because they're scared of the potential allergies. But I don't really want to touch on that because that is really up to everybody to decide. Moreover, I've moved.
You want to say, okay, he's moved on. He wants to tell us. Go.
Right, okay. The best coffee that I've ever had. No, sorry, that's not what I was going to tell you. Right, so based on some research that ChatGPT has done for me, the oldest nail manufacturing brand still in operation today is Tremont Nail Company, established in 1819 in Wareham, Massachusetts.
Excuse me, 1819.
1819. 1819.
What do they make?
Originally known as the Parker Mills Nail Company, founded by Isaac and Jared Pratt on a cotton mill.
Are you sure it's for nails? For
yeah, continuously for over 200 years. Oh, sorry, I just bashed my traditional
nails.
square cut nails that have been sheared.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is what I'm saying.
Oh dear, guys.
This is what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to get at. Are you sure it's manicure nails or nails that people make? Like bash into a piece of furniture?
Yeah. Bash into some furniture.
Okay.
Anyway, Q-Tex, founded in 1911, introduced the first fingernail cuticle remover and nail polish in 1911.
Yes. Okay.
And then Revlon.
Oh, fudge, I forgot about them.
Revlon, founded in 1932 by
forgot about them.
company Charles Revson, Joseph Revson. Anyway, and the chemist, Charles Lachman. Oh, Lachman. Max Factor.
Okay.
1909.
Well.
But they brought their Supreme nail polish in 1925 in beige colours. And then Rebecca is right, Sally Henson. Jesus Christ. Is that an actual lady? I think I can think of like colour hair.
I think it is.
1946. There you go.
She's got, is it her that has a, still alive? I feel like she is. I feel like, oh no, I'm thinking of Sally Morgan. It's fine. Completely
Anyway,
fine.
Sally Henson Inc. was founded in 1946 by Sally Hansen herself. The brand's first trademark was hard as nails and Mendenail. Sally Henson. I think I can see the brand. I think is it red and white stripes?
You can see that. Can you not see the Sally Hansen?
Yeah. But if you think about some of those, like for instance, Revlon, Max Factor, Sally Henson, still around today, but I would say they are not prolific for doing what
Find out
we know.
who's the oldest professional brand. It's going to be CND.
Yep, CND.
Is it?
Still operating today. It does say things like Q-Tex and everything else, but the first images is CND and OPI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think CND would be still around today.
Yeah. But it's funny how when you think about nails, and everyone probably listen to this podcast thinking about, like, for instance, if you were to go and buy products for your salon, would CND be up there?
Not for me personally. We did used to use it.
We did, absolutely.
We did. Their products are fantastic. Their products are considered very safe. But a little bit more old-fashioned, I would say. A little bit more old-fashioned, which is why people tend to not go with CND, just because they find the colours quite, old-fashioned.
I'm looking at the colours here, and it's not colours that we would have based on just this image.
Remember, like lobster roll, satin pajamas.
Oh, I've got barn red, linen, terracotta, russet, and golden rod.
Don't remember any.
Golden rod.
I definitely don't remember golden rod.
Golden rod.
Do you not remember like lobster roll, satin pajamas?
Yeah. Oh, God, that could go a lobster roll right now.
Nude knickers.
Nude knickers. Imagine a lobster roll with some French fries. Oh, yes. Hungry boys. Okay, let me tell you about the coffee that I had that's best, right? So you guys know my coffee journey, right?
I will actually say also that it was the best coffee I had while we were on the trip.
Imagine we're driving from California through to Phoenix in Arizona, and we stop off at this town called Quartzsite.
There was nothing there.
apparently it's like an old town. So we go in, we drive into it. There's a place that does jerky. We thought, we'll go in. We did grab some jerky.
It was very good.
It was, and we're driving out this town, and I kept saying to Rebecca, God, we should have. We were hungry to begin with.
We were hungry.
There was McDonald's, but you and I don't really enjoy McDonald's, and we certainly didn't want to stop there for a coffee. And Rebecca was like, "Oh, there's a little coffee place there," and it looked like a wooden shed.
It was literally a shed in a car park. When I say shed, a small shed, very very small shed in a car park.
So we parked
in the very middle, like with nothing around. It was strange to us at the time. It was strangely placed.
Yeah. So we parked up in a parking space, and we walked to the window, and I said to the lady, "This is a lovely little place you've got. Could I have a double espresso over ice?" And Rebecca got a specialist iced
I got
decaf.
a white chocolate blended thing. It was so good.
Yeah.
Decaf.
And we sat on a bench close by to it. I think it was an old pizza place or something like that. Hot dog place that wasn't open. And then what we came to realise is the window that we walked up to was a drive-through window because a guy just drove his truck into this car park, desert type car park, and just drove up and got a coffee to go and went. But it was excellent.
Called Camel something.
I Google searched it the other day to show the staff.
I've seen the images.
Oh, did you look at my computer?
No, one of the girls. I think Jennifer took a picture of you.
Of course. Snitches get stitches, Jennifer. So yeah, actually, do you know what? I think that was quite a good episode today because if you think about everything that we discussed, all those different trends.
You've really moved on. You were in the middle of talking about coffee and then you're like, what? You didn't round up the coffee section.
Anyway, it was a great coffee and it got me going for the rest of the day.
Great coffee and very well priced.
Very well priced.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah, it was the only thing it was decent price in America.
Pretty much.
Jeez. Talk about inflation.
Anyway,
so I keep thinking about it because they did have their own roast, and if I could find out the name of that person, that place, I might actually send them an email and say, could you sell me a bag of your roast? Because right now I'm stuck with beaker beans and they're okay. Anyways, enough. Let's get on from the coffee and let's round up on today's pod. I think it was quite a good pod. We did discuss a lot of different nail trends that I think have definitely would have come back at some point in the last 15 years since we've had a salon.
And I think for the most part now, because people really like to express their individuality, I think all trends are in. There's always going to be something that's like prevalent. Like, you know, you had the whole Hailey Bieber glazed donut nails, etc.,
yes.
etc. But I think everything is in now.
Yeah, I think it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I'm thinking of the 15 girls that work with us. Everyone has their own individual style. You can look at Jennifer and you know you're going to get the same thing. Well, you guys practice on Jennifer quite a bit, so you might get something different.
But I know that Jennifer loves blues, as an example.
I was looking at Karina's nails the other day, yesterday, because she gave me the finger. I was like, oh, right, okay. And she had like a classic French. And I was like...
She's had that for months and months and months because she absolutely loves peace.
Right, but I didn't know that because at one point I remember seeing her nails and they were like crap dripping off them. I don't know, gems and all this.
But that's it. Like
she looked like she'd walk through a Halfords with a magnet stuck to her nails. And ding, 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 ding.
But people now, it's no longer about conforming because you don't need to conform. You can express your individuality. That's what it is now.
Oh, I think nails is a great way to just express yourself because it is, again, like I said, individual to you. But you can go to a nail tech and they might be like crushing on a certain thing that matches your personality, but it might not. You might go to a different nail tech. I think, nails is a great way to express yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I express myself by having dirty fingernails that are quite short.
I will say that all the nail techs that work for us have very similar styles in terms of the nails that they do. If you go into their pages, they're all quite similar.
Yeah, but they're drawn to us because of a similar style.
Like wacky. 3D,
wacky.
Lots of nail art.
Should we at any point in time give them all a shout out? It's only Karina that listens to the podcast. Karina's nail, her page is something like that redhead nail tech, Glasgow, GLA something. I don't know.
Maybe we should actually find that information out before.
Yeah. Karina, leave a comment if you are listening. Anyway, honey, what are we doing for the rest of the day? Bear in mind that we have, I can't believe it's almost 1 p.m.
What?
I've been awake since 5. I've done a day's shift and I need to go home and do like boy stuff.
There's so much stuff to do at the house.
Why? Because we're selling the house?
We will be selling the house.
We need to fix the walls that have been neglected to fix. Do you know what I was actually looking at last night when I was sitting watching some TV in the living room? I thought to myself, this whole thing needs painted and I don't want to do it.
We're not gonna do it. There's no point.
Okay.
But there are some touch-ups that we should do before we sell the house.
Definitely.
But yeah, there's a wall that we had to pull down because we had a leak and blah, 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 and that happened in November and we've never put it back. But we need a very specific thickness of gyprock, which B&Q doesn't sell.
Yeah,
so.
thanks very much.
Do we really need it? Can we not just make it work with the thinner one?
I was going to make it work with another one and maybe just do 2.
Do they do 0.9?
No. Not today anyway. The sun is out.
Also, yeah, but the sun's going to be out for the next long time.
Well, I'll tell you what.
But also, it's our first weekend back and we're really, really tired. Yeah. So I think we'll just relax.
I today would like a couple of things to happen. I would like, number one, to mow the lawn so that you stop saying the lawn is messy.
No, the lawn is not messy because of the grass. The lawn is messy because of the 17 holes that Dakota's dug, the plastic bag that he's ripped up, the paper bag that he's ripped up, and all of his toys.
Yeah.
And his paddling pool that he now apparently has.
Apparently, because one of the girls just bought my paddling pool. That's just the way the staff work. I think he's trying to dig his way back to Florida.
Right, it could be, because there is a lot of holes.
There's a lot of holes, which is going to be excellent when we come to sell the house. I used to have beautiful striped lawn.
We're going to just have to get bits of turf and just like patch it over.
Yeah.
We're literally going to have to do that.
It is. So I would like to take the boys around the field. I think it's a good one.
Dakota specifically asked me this morning to ask you to take him to the beach.
Okay, the reason the field.
Dad, let's go to the beach, let's go get away.
Okay.
Dad.
Yeah, he did say that at 5, yeah. So let me tell you something. If we take them to the field, it's near the River Clyde. I'll just throw him in that.
He doesn't want to go in there.
Kind of messy, but it's fine. I'll throw him in that.
Needles and stuff.
I'll take him home and I'll hose him down. Yeah. Bailey can't walk too far because he's old and dying.
He's 7.
Yeah, well, he's dying.
He's going to live till 17 at least.
Definitely dying.
Don't say such a thing.
He's hobbling about like an old man. Can't even jump up on the bed anymore. Although he did jump on the bed several times last night. That's because he jumped off to go and do a poo in the bloody
carpet.
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was annoyed at them this morning because
were you?
I had to pick up 2 poos from my bedroom, and one of those poos was on top of the cable for my hairdryer.
He always does that.
So he could have done it anywhere else in the room, but he chose that. So you've not just got to pick it up and clean the carpet, you've also got to clean the cable, which is just excellent.
He's an absolute arsehole.
I don't know why he's doing it.
Do you know, before we went on holiday, there hadn't been accidents in absolute forever. No accidents. I've
let the girls. So the girls, thankfully, look after them when we're away. Thankfully, I don't think they want to do it anymore, but thankfully they do. But I think to pacify them, they just give them whatever they want. Like I think Daki is getting like McDonald's chicken nugget deliveries at 1 a.m. just to shut him up and stuff like that. Anyway. So, yeah, we're going to try and enjoy some sun. So, again, thank you very much for listening, guys, for putting up with us this week.
Make sure you go and enter our competition. So, we're going to run that every single month. We're going to pick a winner, not decided on the date yet. And remember, you have got to be subscribed to us either on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. You have got to be following Nail on Sunday on Instagram. And more important, to actually enter the competition, you have got to share a screenshot on your stories and tag us. Tell people why you like it.
Yeah. You get 50. You might get 50 quid, and it helps us to grow the pod.
Yeah.
Moreover, because we hate having to do this for free every single week. Okay. On that note, honey, can you get us the heck out? My watch is saying time to stand up, so it's time to get going.
Time to go.
Can you get us the heck out of here, honey?
As always, guys, if you enjoyed that, be sure to give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to be notified when we release our next episode.
Tuning in on Sunday, all the tea getting spilled. Nail text talking gang, keeping it real, y'all gon' feel. From designs to the drama, every secret they reveal. Stay sharp, stay tuned, man, you know it's the deal.